What's up, guys? Earl at Sumo Bully Kennels. Happy Wednesday and middle of the week has been crazy. Want to give a special shout outs to everyone who has liked and subscribed. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, guys. As always, handshake agreement, tap in. If you like our content and follow us and watch us, do me a favor, man. It's free. Hit it, tap it, all that good stuff. Notifications, you know what to do. So today, welcome to an exciting episode. It's going to be a short one. However, this is our 9th puppy purchase, right? Craziness. Again, we're taking a break from the classroom, which we'll get into next week. Promise we'll get back into the boring classroom stuff for business plans and whatnot. So we picked up another puppy. And why did we pick up another puppy? I'm going to get into it. And so in our last episode, kind of recap, we picked up Big Bertha, who is a double Linebred Markoff girl from Blueberry Kennels, Illinois, Jose Miranda, off of Godiva and Rhinoceros, right? Very happy with that girl, super impressed by her. And so takes us to this episode, acquisitions, why, we're dogged out, puppied out, everything else. However, seeing these dogs in person, putting hands on them, parents, the puppies, and you see the potential and believing in a vision and understanding the anchor and foundation of your yard and what you're going to breed around is exactly why we picked up this boy. So this is Big Bertha's full brother, and his name is Juggernaut. You're seeing him on the screen. You're seeing him at about 7 weeks old. He is a chocolate tri-carrier, dilute carrier. His dad is Rhinoceros from Madhouse XL Bullies, who is a ghost lilac tri. And his mom is Godiva, who I'm a big fan of, and I've been saying it forever and a day. She is a chocolate tri, very beautiful girl. When we picked up Kaiju and Snickers, we knew Jose had planned on doing a line breeding with Godiva, and so we wanted a half brother and half sister to the earlier dogs that we got as an anchor point in our yard for line breeding before we outcross, right? And understanding that, we have a lot of dogs in our yard right now. We're up to 10 right now, and I'm normally not a fan of the males. Just because there's so many great male dogs out there, right, that it's hard to follow a line. However, because of the anchor point of our yard being based off of Markoff line breedings and outcrosses, we picked up Bertha, and honestly, this is a first pick male off that breeding. Ridiculous bone, ridiculous posture, and again, I would have kicked myself in the ass if we did not acquire this dog. However, if things didn't line and we didn't get this dog, I certainly would have wanted to know where he ended up at, because he would have been a big part of our breeding, right? So before I break down the pedigrees and whatnot, understanding what a double line-bred dog means, right? Line-bred on the mom's side, right? Line-bred on the dad's side. Now, you only can call that a double line-bred dog if both line breedings come off of similar dogs in the pedigrees. And I'll get into that in a minute. So there is the coefficient of inbreeding, which is COI. And there is the coefficient COR, which is the coefficient of relationship, right? Just because you have a line-bred dog, and let's say you have a female, and you take her to a male, right? And the male is a line-bred male as well. However, if there are no common denominators in the pedigrees. Ultimately, you still have an outcross. And based on what the puppies look like, their COI and COR, really gives you the determination of the end result of the breeding. So you're either line breeding, possibly inbreeding, if that's your flavor, or you're outcrossing. And without common denominators in the pedigree, what do you really have? You have an outcross, which is a so if you have two linebred, you have a linebred female, linebred male, and you breed them. However, there's no coefficient of relationship. Then you have an outcross, which is a loosely scatterbred dog, ultimately. And so, how do you guarantee the result? It's a mathematical equation, right? So with that said, before we get into the boring stuff, let's take a look at this boy. Here he is. All right, and I'll explain to you why we got him. Here he is at about 6.5, 7 weeks old. Nice, very good looking dog. Love the bone on him, love the spread, love the expression. You look at him there, he's probably like 5.5, 6 weeks here. There he is. Very nice. So you guys will formulate your opinions, but you know, pictures is one thing, and seeing a dog in video and actually, you know, touching the dog, and we looked at a lot of dogs, lots of puppies and all that stuff, and very impressed by him. And I'm not even a big person when it comes to acquisitions and picking up a male dog, right? So here's a short video of him right here. See him moving. This is we got him at roughly 8 weeks, so this is about 8.5 weeks right here. You could already see the structure. There he is right there. Expand this a little bit so we could talk on it. And for those of you who are new to the channel, we'll go into the pedigrees. Very impressed by this boy, first and foremost, right? So why Juggernaut? Oh man, well, you guys already know I'm a big fan of Godiva, so let's go into this. Godiva is a chocolate tri. That is Rhino Saurus, who is bred by the same person who bred Godiva. And he is a ghost lilac tri, right? So what really makes this special, right? Why this dog over any other dog out there, male pups that are very impressive, that you know, are available. So let's get into this Gen 1, right? And I'm going to repeat a lot of this from the Big Bertha video. So Bluebird's Godiva, from the first time I saw her, I was a big fan of her, and thankfully she's local in Illinois, an hour away from me. Beautiful, beautiful dog. I mean, just a crazy expression, right? And they took her to Rhinosaurus of Madhouse XL Bullies. However, Rhino was produced by the same person who produced Godiva. And you'll understand in Gen 2, right? So now let's go into Gen 2. Godiva is off of Zoe. Zoe is a dog that Jose Miranda bred. And he took her to Goosebump, who is a first pick Markoff son, right? Let's not get into any deeper than that because we're only on Gen 2. Roulette, I believe, is a dog that Jose purchased. And he took her to Epic Grind Starlord, who is a Markoff son. So these two produced Rhino. Zoe and Goosebump produced Godiva, who is a spectacular specimen of a girl, and it's a shame that she never made it to show. Where things get interesting is in Gen 3, right? So right now you're looking at 4 dogs with no commonalities, right? except for Goosebump and Star-Lord. But without going to Gen 3, they're just 4 dogs, right? You got a chocolate, lilac tri, chocolate, and a lilac tri. All right? So now here's what it gets crazy. So if you look at Goosebump, he's off of Markoff. Like I said, Goosebump is a Markoff son. Now you're going to see Roulette as the mom of Zoe off of Blueberry's Jaeger Bomb. So Goosebump, we know, is off Markoff. Roulette, I'll click for you one time, is a Markoff daughter. You see what I'm saying? So you're going to get Markoff 2 times on that. And then when you go to Rhino in his 3rd gen, you're going to get Roulette, who we just said is off Markoff, right? And then you're going to get Epic Grind Star-Lord, who is off of Markoff as well. So directly, Star-Lord is off Markoff. Roulette is off of Markoff, right? And you're going to see Markoff 4 to 6 times in this pedigree, and you're going to see Roulette twice, who is a Markoff daughter. Markoff daughter who gave birth to a girl who they then took to Goosebump, who's a Markoff son. So there you go. Either which way you go, ultimately you end up on a Markoff line. And what's the big deal with Markoff? Well, he is a legendary dog who produced a lot of these dogs we like, right? So, for example, and I'll just do one example, and I'll pick a high value dog that everyone knows, right? So, here we go. This is Wonka. Bossy's Willy Wonka, who's off of Markoff. Direct line off of Markoff right here, right? And for those of you who know or don't know, Wonka produced Goodbar, who's a very nice dog in our industry. You know, he's a big name, lots of productions, right? So let me go back to the breeding at hand with the pedigrees. So you see this is a 4-way Linebred Markoff dog. And I sent in their embarks. I'm expecting them to have a very high koi, 25 and up. And to really, you know, establish the consistency to do something like this will take you roughly anywhere from 4 to 6 years to produce a double Linebred dog like this. And so let me just jump to our website so you can see that's Juggy, right? But if you see our males, you'll see Kaiju, right? Here's Kaiju, and a lot of you guys like him. You know, he's developing to a nice young dog. He's roughly 9 months. There he is, right? And he is off of Godiva, the same girl we were just talking about, who's off of Zoe, who's off of Roulette, who's off of Markoff. So this is Juggernaut's half brother, right? And if you look at our females, we'll look at Big Bertha. Oh, sorry. We'll look at Snickers, who we call Poodle. There you go. You see our pictures there. And again, she's roughly the same age right now. But very impressive girl who's off of Diva as well. So basically we have a brother and sister and a brother and sister who are half brother and sister. And when anchoring your yard in terms of line breeding, having that gap of 8 months between half siblings really sets you up for a very nice line breeding, which you can take to some amazing outcrosses out there, the dogs that we all, you know, like and love. However, if you're just outcrossing, it's harder to reproduce that dog and lock in those traits, as they say. So when it comes to breeding, line breeding is very important. Inbreeding can be done. Just you have to be very careful with how you do it. And outcrosses are super necessary, right? You need to bring in that vigor, that hybrid vigor. So line breeding establishes consistency, that outcross brings that freak. And so what we have invested in is line bred dogs that we can take to each other, so that we can take them to current dogs out there that may or may not have coefficient of relationship to our dogs. However, we'll bring that hybrid vigor, right? So in terms of embark, we sent it in. We're waiting on that. I have high expectations of that. The big picture of things is that this new boy and girl that we picked up really locks in the blood that we have on the yard. Even with our girl Maki, who's off of a lot of bossy line. She's loosely line bred. However, it all goes back to Lanka and Markoff. So even that is still a line breed for us. So it absolutely makes sense, right? Understanding that and working within a blood line and consistency will allow us to line breed some more and outcross without being scatterbred as a program. And that's a big thing, right? Because establishing that consistency of someone that can work with that is just, you're basically shortcutting your program 4 years is what I'm trying to tell you. And for some of you guys that makes sense. It'll settle in, it'll hit on you. Or for some of you guys may or may not agree with what we're looking at, which is fine. It's perspective. And ultimately, breeding, there is a math and a science to it. And so I'm excited to have this acquisition to add to our yard, to be able to use it to outcross to line breed. And I can't wait to get to embark, and I'll do a update video on their embark, both of them, brother and sister. But right now, to be honest with you, of the dogs we purchased, of the dogs I've seen, of the puppies I've seen, these two dogs at their age that we looked at them at 6 weeks and we got them at 8 weeks. And we did get a first pick. To me, we got a first pick and a first pick. I haven't seen anything better, to be honest. Now, of course, they're still young, so it's left to be seen. But I promise you, 9 months from now, 10 months from now, it's a totally different thing, and we're so excited to have the opportunity to be able to do this, and bring it into our yard, to our blood, to our program. And just if you guys have ever been into breeding, not just dogs, just breeding period, and understanding what I'm trying to communicate is super, super exciting. And to have the opportunity to be able to do that and have everything in-house without outsourcing is amazing. And so, the future is looking bright for these acquisitions and the mixtures that we're going to do. Very well thought out litter. And I already know, their mom is Godiva. I'm a fan of. I already know who she's going. I knew who she was going to in the second. I know who she's going to in the third. And so I'm very excited for that. Whether we're able to participate in that litter or not, that's a whole nother story. But either way, we have enough genetic material on our yard for the look and consistency we're trying to create. That's, already saved us 3 to 4 years in breeding to be able to mix, match, play, and line breed or outcross and produce the next generation of amazing dogs. And that's really what we look forward to, right? So, really looking at that, guys, if you understand line breeding, outcrossing, inbreeding, then you understand what the big excitement's about, for us, for our yard. If you don't, definitely take your time and do some research, man, because it's there's a lot of math and science that goes into it. And even though it's not 100% guaranteed, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, is what I'm trying to say, right? So, ultimately, in summary, I mean, this is a killer acquisition for our yard. We got the girl. We were happy with that. To have the opportunity to get a first pick male. Especially, we have a brother, half brother and sister on the yard that's about 8 months older than them. Amazing. What we're going to be able to work with that and establish with that and outcross it is going to be ridiculous. So, looking at our dogs on the yard, we have coys of, we have some outcross dogs with coys of 9, 12, 13%. We have some line-bred dogs that are 18, 19, 17%. And I'm really excited for Juggernaut and Big Bertha, to get their embark, make sure they're health clear, and look at their COI, because I understand their COR. And understanding the blood and the COI and the COR of your dog will help guide you in making decisions, guys. When you lay out your map of what you're going to do and what you're going to create, it's a lot. All it becomes is execution, right? Understanding like the dogs we have in our yard, what we're a fan of, what we're trying to create and perpetuate. It's very easy, especially when you make acquisitions that make sense for your yard. So, for a person who does not have this blood on their yard, this is probably not a good acquisition for you. If you're a breeder and you're trying to establish, and you got a lot of, let's just say, Burger King blood on your yard, and for you, this is Subway. It has nothing to do with anything. So, acquisitions make sense for the right yards, for the right people, based on the blood you already have or the blood you're trying to perpetuate, right? So, how do you create a bloodline of a dog is ultimately line breeding and outcrossing, and then line breeding your outcross to establish your own blood, which may take you 3 to 5 generations, right? That's how any bloodline is created. And unless you were here 30 years ago and started a breed, you started with someone else's bloodline. That's the honest truth, right? Everyone here who has been breeding 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 9 years, 10 years, 12 years, ultimately started with someone else's bloodline that they line bred and outcrossed to produce a better dog, to which they line bred anyway, and really establish that new hybrid dog that they created, right? So really think about that, guys, because when you guys are looking into acquisitions, right, or looking at your yard and seeing what to bring in, it's understanding your coefficient of inbreeding versus your coefficient of relationship in dogs, so that you can create consistency. And consistency is key, ultimately, based on the pedigree, based on the phenotypes, based on the best expression, right? And this is why there are picks 1 through 4 through 5 through 6 through 7, because even though they share the same pedigree, you will see a dog at pick 1 versus pick 3 or pick 4. And, even at 8 weeks, you'll see a tremendous difference of how those dogs look. And this is exactly why breeders charge the way they charge. because you're paying for the best expression of what they've created. And rightfully so. I agree with it 100%. Having common denominators on your yard will help you lock in that consistency, because when it comes to pricing and things like that, right, for a person like me, I may be a fan of one dog, and that dog happens to be a sire of your litter, and the one dog is let's just say a linebred male, or loosely linebred male, with some common denominators, but you took him to a completely outcrossed girl, scatterbred girl, that has maybe a medium coefficient of inbreeding and zero coefficient of relationship from the dad's side. Ultimately, that's an outcross to me. And you cannot guarantee me what that dog is going to look like, other than it's going to look like the mom or the dad. In which case, I got to look at the second generation grandparents and the third generation great grandparents, and hoping that one of those bloodlines dominates that breeding that aligns with my yard, so I can use it. It's a lot of wishful thinking, is what I'm trying to tell you. And so, for those of you who get it, great. Oh, those who don't, cool. Do you. Everyone has a lane in this industry. I'm not here to knock anybody's lane. I'm here to explain how we do things and what we think about, right? But ultimately, making an acquisition on your yard, whether you pick up an adult or a puppy or an adolescent, why? It has to tie into your vision, which has to tie into the pre-existing dogs and bloodlines you have. Otherwise, you're scatterbred, which you can create. I'm not saying you won't create an amazing dog. Not at all. However, if I buy a scatterbred dog, how much work do I have to do to establish consistency and bring that back to its original blood, the blood that I like, and what is that blood based off of, the male or the female, and what genetic material is available to me. So that's exactly how we make decisions here on our yard, is so that the phenotype, the genotype that we like, and the genetic material that we're going to need in order to line breed or outcross our dogs is readily available. Otherwise, it becomes more expensive, and not just with money, but with time to look and find it. And I know I'm going super technical with things, but that's the reality of what it is, right? So you get a puppy, and let's just say a female, 2 years out, cool, what's out there? Are there uncles out there, half brothers, half sisters, something within the bloodline of a dog that you're a fan of, so that you can bring it back before you take it back out? Think about it, guys, right? So a scatterbred dog to me that has a low COI and a low COR based on the dogs I have on my yard, let's say someone pays 10 grand for that dog. Well, that dog probably wouldn't be worth more than $3,000 to me. Again, the value is in the eye of the beholder, based on what you're trying to create or perpetuate. So understand that the value is different based on the lens of the person looking at it. So this boy works for me. To someone else, they'll be like, I wouldn't pay more than whatever, $3,000-4,000 for him, let's just say, right? Cool. But if you don't have this blood on your yard, then I respect your value position, because it doesn't make sense for you, other than you're a fan of the breeding, you like how the dog looks. But the reality is, if he doesn't tie into your yard with coefficient of relationship, then it really doesn't matter what his coefficient of inbreeding is. All right? And those two are directly related in perspective to what you're trying to do. So ultimately all dogs have value, right? It's up to us as a breeder to take these pieces on a chessboard and make them either valuable pieces or sacrifice pieces, right? And understanding why we do things in order, first having a goal, because everything you do should align towards getting to that goal the quickest way possible. With that said, it's really no bad pairing to dogs. It's what do you got to do to replicate, if you hit and make magic, right? What's it going to take to really lock that in? So for me, it's like questions for you guys watching, listening. It's, why are you buying a pup? Is it price? Is it color? Is it the big name that it comes from? Is it the pedigree? Maybe it's your first dog and you like something off of it. The key is to really understand why. And the why should always lead to your end goal as a yard. So every piece makes sense for your yard, and you're just not, buying popular dog A off a popular breeding, buying a puppy off popular, puppy B off another popular breeding, and buying puppy C off another popular breeding, and then all three of those things have, let's just say, even a good coefficient of inbreeding, however, have zero coefficient of relationship. What do you ultimately have? You ultimately have a scatterbred outcross that's going to take 2, 3, 4 generations to line breed back for consistency. So understanding the value of things, again, the value is in the eye of the beholder, of the person purchasing and what their vision is, which is neither wrong or right. What I'm trying to just do is explain and dispel how breeding works mathematically, scientifically, with line breeds, outcrosses, inbreeds. I don't even really cover inbreed. But ultimately, why we're excited to get this boy, and if you're making an acquisition, why you should be excited based on what you already have or what you're anchoring your yard around, right? Planning and preparation is key for anybody's success in any industry, and especially in breeding, right? So, here is Juggernaut. The genotype is there for us. The phenotype is there for us. And so it was a good acquisition, and very, very impressed by him. And show you some more pictures of him. Here he is. This is when we first got him at 8 weeks. Has a lot of substance, and not just that, coefficient of relationship on our yard is very high. Coefficient of inbreeding should be 22, 25, even 30. I'd be surprised if it's not. There he is. Chocolate boy, tri-carrier, dilute carrier, and just an amazing looking dog. And I'm not even one to pick up males, so that should tell you a lot, guys. Anyhow, you're watching this episode and you're looking to acquire dogs, make sure it aligns with your vision. Make sure it aligns with what you already have. Or if this is your first dog that you're buying, anchor it towards a dog you like, a bloodline, a pedigree, so that your future acquisitions align with COI and COR, so that you save yourself 3-4 years of trying to line breed, right? Versus already acquiring material that gets you halfway there, so that you can establish the look you like, the consistency you like, and then create that freak that we're all trying to make, right? So with that said, guys, I hope that makes sense. We are super excited to have this boy. He's such a cutie. However, we just didn't buy a dog because he was cute. He just happens to be cute. his bloodline, his phenotype, his genotype, everything is there for us to save us 3-4 years of line breeding, and really anchor the blood of our yard around 2 or 3 bloods that we can mix and match. So that said, guys, you already know. If you haven't already done so, please like, subscribe, check us out. If you're in the Chicagoland area, we do sell raw dog food that we grind and defreeze. And if you're looking to start your yard, or you're already an established breeder, mid-tier breeder, and you want to refocus and recenter your yard, absolutely reach out. We're doing early lock-ins for our business plans, which are good for 5 years, very personalized, and I'm working with some of you guys already. So for you guys who don't understand what that is basically everything, the full breakdown, 8-part business plan, to really take your game, your yard to the next level, and save you some time, right? And time and money has a very close correlation. So, for those of you that understand what I'm getting at, definitely, we spend a lot of money on these dogs. We invest a lot of money in these dogs. We invest a lot of time and attachment and care for these dogs. May behoove you to really have somebody draft up your plan objectively, right? Because the other part is we get so attached to certain dogs or names or bloodlines or camps that oftentimes we are blinded to our own yard. And the reality is we should be our own worst critic. However, what often happens is that we are hurt when somebody speaks truth on our dog and says something truthful, right? I'm not saying somebody who's like trolling or whatever, but somebody says something truthful about your dog from a general, honest perspective, and not coming from a place of trying to, put you down. Oftentimes we can't accept it, because we are so invested in what we're doing. We're so tied in, and we have that attachment that to us we automatically take as an attack. However, it shouldn't be that way. It should be very subjective, right? Granted that the person saying it and the position where they're saying it from is not a person punching down. However, someone trying to help. So there is a difference, guys, right? Of someone, really trying to dispel the truth and be truthful versus somebody who just out here, trying to stir the pot, troll or whatnot. And, those kind of people, I wouldn't even give them the attention that they're looking for, because it's not worth your time. You're just wasting your time. You're better off spending that time dialing in on your program. So anyhow, guys, with that said, this is a more fun episode in the classroom. There's our boy Juggernaut. Excited to see what he'll turn out to be. Definitely has the genotype and phenotype that we like, that makes sense for our yard. There he is. I'm just going to skim through the pictures, and time will tell. However, as they say, the apple does not fall far from the tree. So with that said, guys, please tap in, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know what to do. Thanks again for watching, guys, and let's bully Kennels. I'll catch you on the next one.